Hello, Algebra. Okay, so along with some of 2.4 today, we are going to do some review of Standard A stuff. So this is Standard A. All right, this is 1.2 review, so the order of operations. So let's just review the order of operations. We've got PEMDAS written here. Okay, the P stands for the parentheses, but remember this is all grouping, so even brackets, and then also that division bar. Exponents for our E, so that's the next thing we'll look at when solving. Multiplication and division, left to right, so that's what you'll look for next in an example. And then we have addition and subtraction, left to right. Don't want to spend much time on that because I think you guys get that part. It's actually implementing it. So let's do an example together. Both of these examples are pretty tricky, so if we can do these, we can do anything. All right, so first we look for grouping symbols. I got a grouping symbol right here, so I'm going to focus on this part. Okay, so in there I have another set of grouping symbols, right? So I need to focus on that part now. We just keep getting smaller and smaller. All right, in here there are no other grouping symbols, so we can just focus on what's in here. 3 times 2 divided by 6. Okay, what operations do we have? Multiplication, division. Those are on the same level, right? So we need to do that left to right. Looks like my screen's lagging a little bit, so hopefully this matches up when I'm done recording. So we're just going to work left to right. 3 times 2 is 6, so I'm going to write that as 6, and then we still have dividing by 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1. Okay, so that grouping symbol is done, and I'm going to actually rewrite this. So still have those big brackets, 5 squared minus this whole thing, which we said is 1, close the brackets, dividing by 8. All right, so now we're going to deal with these grouping symbols in there. All right, so within there, we have exponents, and we have subtraction. So what we're going to do first, if we look back at PEMDAS, we do our exponents, and then we'll go down to subtraction. I really hope this lag isn't going to be in the video. All right, so do the exponents first. What is 5 squared? Okay, I'm going to write that to the side. I'll write it right here. 5 squared equals, well, it's the same as doing 5 times 5, which is 25, all right? Exponents, you are not multiplying these numbers together. You're doing this base number multiplied by itself this many times. In this one, it was 2 times, so it's 5 times 5. So 5 times 5 is 25. Okay, so now I have 25 minus 1, which is 24. Okay, so everything in here is 24, that whole group. So I'm going to rewrite it. So this whole group was 24, and then divide by 8. So now we just have one operation, so we can do it. 24 divided by 8 is 3. And we're done. All right, one more example with order of operations. Okay, this one's a little trickier. 1/3 plus 1/6 divided by 2/7. Okay, is there grouping? Yes, this fraction bar is grouping. So we need to look at each group and see if we need to simplify it. The denominator, what's underneath, it's just a number. So we don't have to simplify that. This, though, we got to simplify that. So let's do that right here. 1/3 plus 1/6. I am going to just use the butterfly method. So I'm going to multiply the denominators. 3 times 6 is 18. That's my new denominator. Okay, for my numerator, I'm going to multiply top left to bottom right. So 1 times 6 is 6. Operation is addition. Then bottom left to top right. 3 times 1 is 3. Okay, now I simplify. 6 plus 3 is 9. So I have 9/18, and then reduce. they can both be divided by 9, right? 9 is actually just half of 18. So 9 over 18 reduces to 1/2. So this is not my answer. This was this value on the top, right? Okay, so we're going to rewrite that. I shouldn't have too many markings on here. But we said this, well, that's equal to 1/2. So we have 1/2 over the 2/7. This is not my answer either. We still have this grouping. We have to do that, okay? This grouping specifically is division. Okay, so I can rewrite that as 1/2 divided by 2/7. All right, with division, we do keep, change, flip. All right, so keep. I'm going to keep that, so 1/2. Operation, I am changing that to multiplication. Flipping that second fraction, so we have 7/2 now. Now, multiplying fractions, you just multiply across, so I have 1 times 7, which is 7, multiply across. 2 times 2, which is 4, right? I can't divide 7 and 4 by anything, so I can just stop there. You can go further and rewrite this as 1 3/4 as a mixed number, but I prefer you just keep it as an improper fraction at this point, so you're not taking that extra step and maybe making a mistake. Okay, I know I'm going quickly. You can always pause, rewind, whatever you need to do, but I'm going to keep moving on so this video is not too long. Because we're also going to look at 1.4, distributive property. This is also standard A. All right, so the distributive property says if you have a number being multiplied by a quantity where you're adding, you can rewrite it like this. I always draw on these curves where I distribute the multiplication, right? This multiplication here, A times this whole group. I'm distributing that multiplication to each part of the group. And you can rewrite like this, okay? Same with subtraction, but now this operation is subtraction, okay? Look at examples. It'll help make it easier. Like terms. Like terms have the same variable, and that variable has the same exponent, okay? So some like terms would be x and 3x. The variable is x. The exponent is the same, right? There is no exponent given, so these are like terms. Not like terms, x and 3x squared. Same variable, different exponent, okay? Other like terms, 2y and negative 3y. Same variable, same exponent. Not like terms, x and y, okay? So you can combine like terms. You cannot combine unlike terms, okay? Let's just look at some examples. This first one, simplify. 5 times the quantity, that's what you say when you see these parentheses. So 5 times the quantity, 2x minus x. So I'm going to distribute. I'm going to distribute the multiplication of the 5 to the 2x. Okay, so I can actually rewrite that as 5 times 2x. And then I'm going to distribute the multiplication from 5 to the negative x. So we're subtracting, okay, so now I can just do 5 times x. And now I'm going to rewrite it and simplify. 5 times 2x, 5 times 2 is 10, keep the x, minus 5 times x, which is 5x. Okay, am I done? No. Okay, these are like terms. They have the same variable with the same exponent, okay? So I need to combine them. Think about having 10 x's. You're getting rid of 5 of them. So how many do you have left? Well, you have 5x left. And that would be our answer. This simplifies to 5x. Okay, the second one, something like this might look familiar. There was one like this on the assessment, right? And it tripped a lot of people up. So I'm going to go through one like this. You need to use the order of operations. We have multiple operations going on here. Subtraction, invisible multiplication here, addition, and we have grouping, order of operations. So if we look in the grouping, right, we look in the parentheses first, we can't simplify that, right? They're not like terms. We can't combine them. So really we're done with the grouping. We're just going to leave it like that. Next is multiplication. We have this multiplication here. Well, how do we multiply 4 by this whole thing? We use the distributive property. Okay? Now, here's where it really tripped people up. I am not just multiplying the 4 by these things. I am multiplying a negative 4. Okay? Right here, the 8 is positive. That subtraction is being tacked to whatever follows it, which in this case is the 4. So we treat that as a negative 4. So rewriting this, I have 8 still. Negative 4 times x is negative 4x. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. And then plus 7. Okay, make sure you tack that negative on. All right, now we just have addition and subtraction, and we have some like terms in here. Okay, first we'll look for any like terms with variables. We have an x, but that's it. So I'm going to leave that as a minus 4x. Okay, I'm going to actually cross it off here too, so I know I'm done combining it with anything. Then I have 8 minus 4 plus 7. So we can just do that across. 8 minus 4 is 4, plus 7 is 11. So I have a positive 11. And that is our answer. You can write it as 11 minus 4x if that's easier to look at and deal with, okay? But both of these could be an answer. Last example, simplify. Negative 6 times x minus 2. Distributing, okay? Remember, this negative, that's being tacked on to the 6. So, negative 6 times x, well, that is negative 6x. Negative 6 times, this subtraction is also tacked on to this 2. So we have negative 6 times negative 2. A negative times a negative is a positive. And 6 times 2 is 12. So our answer is negative 6x plus 12. Or like this one before it, we can write that as 12 minus 6x. If this is super confusing to you, this is from the last standard. You're having your last assessment on this your next day in class. That second day you'll be in class. So make sure that if you have questions, you are asking them, okay? I am not responsible for reading your mind and knowing what you know and what you don't know, okay? I'm trying to give you resources so that you can learn these things, and I'm opening up communication so you can tell me how you're doing. So make sure you're reaching out to me. Make sure you're understanding all this. The next lesson will come with some review of fractions stuff and positive and negative numbers with operations. All right, guys, have a good rest of your day. If I can get this to end.